winter of 1939, we lived in this old farmhouse that you've heard me talk so much about near Gatesville. It's old Fletcher Farm. And something happened during the winter of 1939 that, um, unless you lived it and knew people that knew this happened, not many people would believe it. But that winter, in this old farmhouse, we had a wood stove that heated portions of the house. There was an old fireplace in the house, but there were cracks in the walls and it didn't do much heating. So when the extreme cold, well, we would be able to fire in this little stove and had the pipe that went up through the ceiling. And it was during that winter that at night when the stove would get good and warm, and then as it would begin to cool off before we would go to bed, we would hear something under the floor of this old house. Now you have to remember that I was not very old, and but I remember it all so well. And I remember my mother saying to my dad, Billy, do you hear that? Do you hear that humming and that rattling? My dad didn't want to hear it because my dad didn't like varmints very well. But I remember them talking about it, and my mother said, there's rattlers under this house. They're under this stove, under the floors, on the ground, bedded up where it was warm. Well, I wish I could remember the time frame, but I know that time went on. It was still cold. And I remember my mother, we went down on Owl Creek, and my Brazel grandparents were living down there then. And I remember my mother going to my granddad Brazel and saying, Daddy, we've got to do something before the snakes start crawling. Do you think you could get a hold of Johnny Coops? Now, my children, you know that you've heard Dad talk about Johnny Coops and a lot of the stories, but he was an old German man, and one of the things he did was he caught rattlesnakes, and he would kill them. I think perhaps he would sell the hides. I'm not sure. But anyway, my granddad Brazel got a hold of Johnny Coops,